Hey there, and we're live in Lakesh and Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude. LaOta of the Sun, Tarvars of the Sun, we are here, waiting for our people to join. How you feeling, LaOta?
I'm feeling marvelous in Lakesh Veritas. Oneness and truth all day long. Rainy day in
One is
Georgia.
rainy day in Georgia, indeed. Every time I hear that, it makes me think of you'd sing this song, "Rainy Day in Georgia." I'm like, it's in my head. Rainy day in Georgia, indeed. However, the sun is still shining. We're
Yes,
still
yes,
radiant.
yes.
Yes, yes. So we're going to give the people a moment or two to chime into the live stream. And, hey, we're talking about frequency today. We're talking about protection. We got a lot in store for the live stream. And just kind of want to double check how we sounding on your end.
Sounds good on my end.
All right, sounding good on my end. How we looking?
Yes, everyone
Did you
here is
freeze?
saying we look good.
All right,
Thumbs
all
up.
right. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and begin diving into some updates, some different highlights and updates. So we are concluding the end of May. People keep talking about time collapsing. Like, where's the time going? So we are wrapping up, and of course, it's accelerating. But as we move into the month of June, we have again another robust month where we are continuing with the light body movement. And there's a lot of great responses from light body movement. The participants who are joining in, they are seeing and noticing essentially what the goal is and the focus is, and where activating your light body isn't just theoretical. It's something that's tangible, observable in your reality. And so getting great responses and feedback from that. However, we have expanded the light body movement from 2 days to four, and it's still remaining at the same price. That's right, giving you all that value. So, first, second, third, and fourth Sunday, we are together, igniting in union as a collective, activating the light body. So, be on the lookout for that on our website. And again, lots of new classes. Today, we're going to be talking about frequency waters. LaOta will be doing a frequency water class. And for those who may have missed out, she did a vibration class. This was one of her monthly energetic clearing workshops, but she's going deep. This will be a 3-day immersion into learning about frequency water. So we're going to dive into that, but we're also going to dive into energetic protection and defense. Can you hear my when they're doing karate? You hear the you can hear the clothing. But this is spiritual. This is war with self. The enemy is the inner me, and we got to put down that darkness that's in us. So we're going to be discussing that. That's a class that I have coming up, which is a regular staple class within of a sun. But one could say frequency waters are just as much as a regular staple. That's, I would say, one of the first energy hygiene products, energetic support products that I encountered engaged when I first engaged with you over a decade ago. So, uh, bat alarms ringing. We gotta go save somebody. They gonna have to wait. All right, so Laut, so we are here. I'd like to call for the frequency of truth, bring us in, and then we just dive
Yeah,
into this idea of frequency with you today in this
excellent.
discussion.
Yes, I'd love to do that.
Great, great. So for those who are joining us, those who are here, oh, we got Russ Golston. Sounds good. Thank you, Russ. Heads up. We appreciate you. So for those who are joining us in the live stream, may you join us within this call for the truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? May we feel the frequency of truth moving into our being. May we adhere to the frequency of truth. That's right. Had to give it a little more sauce because we talk about frequency. So frequency bandwidth, this idea of frequency bandwidth corresponding with your class frequency water. So if I may just give them a quick little understanding. So this is a 3-day class. It's going to begin in the beginning. It's going to begin on the 10th. It'll run 3 days from the 10th, 17th, and 24th of June. And this is at 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's held online. And again, this is a focus on frequency integration by way of the Other Sun frequency waters. So, LaOta, talk to us. What do you want us to understand about frequency and bandwidth? Where do we start?
There's so many ways to speak about the truth of many things. The way that I will speak about this is that it is a frequency and vibration are everything. And that frequency and vibration is how we are manifest in physical reality. It is the speed at which we are moving. And in the process of being clearers and us clearing energy hygiene, those who know it know that it is the speed at which something moves that clears the energy of it. So it is the speed of the vibration that makes the frequency. So, what we will be doing is each person who comes to class will have this extraordinary experience of being able to, I will identify what is missing in their frequency set. Like, which things are you missing? Mother's love? Are you missing wealth, the wealth frequencies? Are you missing purification? Are you missing rejuvenation? Is your frequency set lower in courage than it needs to be? So we're going to be identifying these frequencies because frequency is contagious. And a frequency can be utilized or called upon. It can be utilized as a frequency water to let you adhere to the frequency to become that frequency. So in this class, we will be sharing with people the variety of different frequencies that they may not even be aware of, because many people have, like, a person may have beauty but they may be missing humbleness, or they may be missing courage, or they may be missing um, purity. But we can look at the frequency set. We are each a culmination of a frequency set. We have a signature. Our signature is our frequency set, but in the bandwidth of our signature, there may be places that need to be filled in with deeper movement of energy that gives us our frequency set more power so that we can have the things we want in life. So we'll be looking at what are the many frequencies, what are the frequencies that we have, what are the frequencies that are needed, and which ones can you begin to put into your bandwidth, because frequency is contagious. So if you are able to acquire the distinct, clear frequency and you use it or you participate with it often, whether it's a person or a frequency water, you can then acquire the frequency. And we know this is true because we see that people who sleep with their dogs start to look like their dogs. They acquire the frequency set through going to sleep at night. They acquire the frequencies and they start to resemble each other. Husband and wives who've been married a long time start to look alike. This is an example of how frequency is adhered to from familiarity. So these are really potent examples for you to see that the person didn't start off that way, but after adhering to or being in the familiar circumstance or wanting to be what I love you, I want to be like you, and then they start to be that way. They acquire the frequencies. So this is a
This is
truth.
This is interesting. First off, you're answering a lot of the questions that I have. I was going to ask how or why is it foundational, and just explaining more about what is a frequency set, because in all my time of the journey, I haven't seen that language used anywhere else but here within Of a Sun, that there are a set an algorithm, so to say, of frequencies that are floating around within the field. And then, yet alone, this idea of we can strengthen these different frequencies that pretty much make up our conscious perception and what we attract to us.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more about this, like, let's say, like people who are feeling stuck in repetitive loops, like, what does frequency have to do with that? Because you do say, you said something about frequency and energy is always moving in cycles. Would you speak a little bit about that?
It has it I don't remember saying cycles, but it is certainly the speed of the frequency. So if you see a teenager who won't get out of bed and who doesn't want to go to school and who is sluggish with washing the dishes or cleaning their clothes or brushing their teeth, that's a frequency speed. But when you
So
do, yes,
long way.
yes.
Okay, you talking my language now. I'm about to turn up a little bit. So these long sine waves, I can't really, I'm trying to get up out of bed and low frequency, essentially.
It's a low frequency. It's a depressed understanding of the frequency of life. That is not the frequency of life. Look at a squirrel. That's the frequency of life.
Oh gosh, that's high frequency. I've been squirrel watching too recently, so it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, the idea is that we have frequency sets, and in some areas, like we might be fast to get to the kitchen table, but we not, we we may not be fast to take care of other hygienic and personal items or things that interact with our community. So a frequency set would give people the proper speed, the energy. The frequency gives you the energy at which to move into your best and highest interest in your frequency. So for instance, you may have been contaminated by living on planet Earth, and you may need purification. You may need to do some things, have a parasite purge, or take a laxative, or clean yourself out with a fresh juice. That when you do that, your frequency increases.
Most certainly.
The speed of the energy moving through your physical material changes. And that happens as a result of changing your thinking about whether you should be cleaning internally or not. So it begins with it's spiritual, mental, physical, and then vibration.
Yes,
So
yes.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well,
So the
I'm yielding.
so
Talk that frequency talk.
so the idea of coming to the class is so exciting because wherever a person is, we can identify where the frequency deficit is. And then we can add that frequency in a physical product that then speaks to the energy that moves through the organism itself. And with the understanding that it is really the speed or it is the calibration of how fast you are moving that depends on where you are in your journey, whether you're in the basement watching games and can't get out, or whether you're out and about in your life making progress in the way you want to. So this is really important for those who are semi-depressed. This is really important for those who are already A types, where we may need to pull them back a bit so that they can get a little bit of rest. They can add something else to their bandwidth that will help them relax. We may need to give them relaxation in
Mm.
their frequency set so
It's,
they don't burn out their systems.
it's too much of that squirrel energy in there. Nervous. I want to share one thought and then jump to our comments because we actually got some questions that I think may help expand this conversation a little more. So, when you say frequency, especially when you mentioned about the person who's sluggish to get out of bed and how that's akin to a long, drawn out sine wave, and something like joy or something would be moving a lot more uh, faster, closer together, and at a higher intensity, so to say. And so it's so clear. And one of the things that's coming to mind is the necessity, like to really integrate these understandings, because that's always what I'm reaching for. Like, how do we embody and integrate these understandings in our daily lives. And so I'm thinking, wow, all right, I really need to see myself as more than just flesh, right? Like how people say, "Oh, I'm only human." It's like, no, I'm human. I'm human. I'm this organism. I'm this sophisticated piece of technology or organic technology at that, where again, I am interpreting the world through frequency that is within my bandwidth, my frequency set is influencing my motion, because I think this is such a real thing. Like if with areas where we experience stagnation or things like depression or even low emotions like anger, like where this is all a frequency thing and it's a matter of shifting the frequency, which is very possible from my understanding. So I want to jump into these comments really quick and see what the folks are saying here. We got a number of people jumping in. Welcome everybody. Julianne Reynolds, I love this. We love you. Thanks for joining. Elijah Woods, peace, love, happiness, wealth, prosperity, abundance to you all. Appreciate you. Getting that. Cece has a question. I'm actually gonna dial back around to that because that's the one I wanted to jump into. LaOta of the Sun says, Imlakesh and Veritas. That was me on your behalf. Stacy Randall, Imlakesh, Kamisha Brown, P. I don't know, but she's with us. Jen. Hey, Jen. Hi. I am so on the same wavelength as you. I just finished a video on energy protection and opened up my YouTube, and there you are, smiley face. Thanks so much. The work I have been doing in Light Body is amazing. That's what I'm talking about, testimonials. And then, so we're going to get back to our comments in a moment, but I want to go back to Cece. She says, my daughter called me yesterday with a very low vibration, and I would like to know how I attracted that energy and remove it. Would you speak to how is it? Because that's something that I actually had a question for you, but this is a real life scenario. The question was really like, how environments and people and circumstances affect our overall frequency bandwidth. And it sounds like Cece was affected by her daughter's frequency. And, I could say some things, but LaOta, what do you have on that?
It is. We live in a world where everyone is a free choice being and may choose through purposefully or accidentally to experience what they experience. The good news is that, and then you can then influence and have the experience you want to have. So someone calls me up and they're depressed and I'm laughing, I'm having a good time, I'm encouraging them to do the same, like raise up, be joyful, let's dance. What I know for sure is that your daughter was not in gratitude, because gratitude is not synonymous with low frequency. If we were to teach the children anything, it would teach them how to go from 0 to 60 to gratitude immediately. Something happens, let them be grateful for wherever they can find gratitude, wherever you can find gratitude while you're on the phone listening to the depressed, unhappy, sadness, and whatever is going on. Reach yourself up to say, oh, this is a moment where I can help my daughter. This is a moment where I can help myself and then help humanity through this process of bringing myself up, because it's contagious. So even if you can't bring her out of her dire situation, if you can move her up a frequency or two, you have done something marvelous. More importantly, you get off the phone and you have not, um, your clarity has not allowed her depression and sadness and unfortunate circumstance to change your experience. It is upon each of us to hold our frequency. We must hold our happiness. Must not let anyone, including our children, steal our elevation. You're good before the phone rang, you can be good after the phone rings.
Mm,
Even if you hear something terrible, like, oh, there was a storm, I'm still good. Oh, the car accident happened. I'm still good. I'll be there happy. I'll meet you at the hospital, but I'll be happy. I don't have to be sad and depressed because you're scared, sad, and depressed. I will not
mm,
allow your lower elevation to steal and run down the street screaming with my high elevation. That's how we have to look at it, because there's a lot of people in your life. It is not so much that you have done something that caused her to do it. It's more like she is in her own right to have her own experience. However, how you respond to it may have something to do with the duration of which she has it, certainly with you. And then you can reflect back, like, I'm going to be happy anyway. I know you said something sad, but I've decided that life goes on and I'm going to be happy in this moment and in the next, because whatever happened, I'm still going to not let it steal my happiness. So I hope that helps, Cece.
Yeah, I feel like that's a solid, solid as a rock response because you covered so many different things. I had a question, but you kind of answered it where when you said there's a car accident, I'm going to remain happy. Somebody's sad falling out, I'm going to remain happy. Because in our world, for some reason, there's this weird social dynamic and agreement where when somebody's sad and depressed, that means you should not be happy. You should kind of acquiesce into the darkness with them. And it's weird. You're the weird one for sustaining your, like, for example, when there's death and you decide to not grieve and mourn in the same capacity that everyone else typically would, you're considered weird. Something's wrong with them. Why are they not crying? Why are they not sad and depressed like I am? So, but this speaking to really, it sounds like responsibility, taking really stepping into your mastery and deciding what your experience will be and not allowing something outside of you to dictate it. That's ultimate right there. But again, I can see where it does require us to kind of pop ourselves out of the social normalcy of acquiescing to suffering.
I'd like to visit the example you gave. I'd like to go back to the a relative dies and all the children, everybody's boohoo crying and it's
Yeah.
appropriate and they're in grief. And one person
Mhm.
is the person who was closest to him is like, yeah, they died. And everyone leaves the funeral saying, she must not have cared because she's not willing to be sad, depressed, and in, a horrible condition. Like in some countries, people jump into the grave. That's like the severe still in your your.
They
But
do that
if
in America. Throwing on the casket, my baby. No, you left too early. I've seen
and
it.
and there's nothing wrong with that if it's authentically what it is. But if the person happens to be a person who is clear on their understanding of life and death, and they realize death is just another aspect of life, they don't necessarily have to be depressed for 6 months and lose 30 pounds and not be able to talk to anyone. That is a person's choice. And then the morphic field of the community may want them to be like the rest of the people in the community. Lose control of your emotions. Oh, no, let me lose control because they need a way out to release emotions that have been pent up. So there's a place for that. There's a place for grief. There's a place for all that, but not everyone grieves or operates that way. And so the idea would be that whatever is happening, be authentically whatever your frequency set is. If your frequency set is that where you are extremely emotional and would like to show your emotions in that experience because of your loss of that person, that's perfectly fine. But if you're not, often people will think, oh, you didn't even care about him. Ooh, you don't, you're not doing the things that I think will show that that's what happens, what you should be doing when a person, there is no death. When a person leaves and goes to get a new body, you should be all upset. They shouldn't be going to get a new body when you don't get to go get your new body.
First off, this seems like a mind virus because we're mad that you won't be sad. That's what's happening here. We're
Yes.
mad that you are not being, there's something wrong with you. Why will you not allow yourself to drop into low frequency? There's so many different things in my mind, but I'm going to share this briefly. When you were speaking about the group, pull, and I could see what's referred to as the egregore, the thought form, like wanting more of the grief. Would you speak to, and by the
Hmm.
way, before I even prompt this question, there's a lot of really good questions in the comments. And if you all hang tight, we're going to get to some of these because these are really gold. And then I'd like to make sure that we speak more about frequency waters as a solution. Because again, I've been working with LaOta for years, and these things work where the idea of in integrating the frequencies that you need to strengthen yourself in these type of circumstances. So back to my point or my question, would you speak about how that there are certain fields of consciousness, so to say, or egregores, thought forms that require us to broadcast certain frequencies so that they can expand? Like you've said or used the language everything eats. Like joy needs more joy, peace needs more peace, anger needs more anger. Would you speak a little bit about this?
And fear wants more fear. And then
Yeah.
there are aspects of dimensional reality which we all know about. We all know about how crying leads to more crying. We all know how we walk into a senior home and people feel depressed. It feels like there's a very low frequency, very slow, pressing frequency, not a frequency of vitality and life. So that in those spaces where life is ebbing out of a individual place, thing, or organic material, whether it's a piece of zucchini or our grandmother's, whenever there's this idea of life leaving, there is an opportunity for opportunistic consciousness that exists as a reality in this dimension and in others to overlay that.
Mm,
So the lower or the slower your frequency, the more likely that your perception can see it. The higher your frequency, it's likely you'll be above the depressed levels. So you may be happy and joyful. We see it often in with a medicine. Like the doctor understands he's the healer. The doctor understands he's above the sickness. So the doctor's cheerful and moving through the wards. He's happy. How you doing? You feeling better? And the patients are being the patients because they understand themselves to be the patient. The doctor understands himself to be the healer. So he stays above the level of these levels of consciousness that prey upon the lower, depressed, unhappy, sad, fearful frequencies that we would expect to see in a cemetery or in a place that where life is ebbing out of life. But
mm.
those who are about life and who have cultivated their understandings, because it's really an inside job. If you understand that you're to bring the light, then you're not in varying levels of what is less than that. I don't know. Is that clear?
That makes a lot of sense. And I think a great example because this is something everyone can relate to, where they've likely been like, how come, you know, there's death all around, but unfazed, unbothered. So let's jump to some more of these comments. This is really good stuff, and I actually feel as though you have answered some of these questions in the comments, but I'm just gonna go through them with honor respect to everybody. Kamisha Brown, well, before we go there, Russ Golston, he was dropping some wisdom. He goes, we want to raise our base level of coherence, dot, dot, dot. Thus,
Correct.
an increase in our overall vibration, dot, dot, dot. We raise the threshold of our coherence.
That's Russ of the Sun. Yes, that is
All right, Russ,
honor, respect, and
gold
gratitude.
sun. All right,
You
so
you
this was Kamisha.
Russ
She says,
knows about that coherency. He understands because he's been taking classes and been part of what we're doing. And Russ works in the new field of energy medicine where coherence is health. The more coherent you are, the more you reach the threshold where you then become health instead of illness. So thank you, Russ.
yes. Yes, and then we have Kamisha Brown. She says, peace, love, and light to you all. How can one prevent others from pulling your energy, keeping one drained? And I feel like you kind of answered that, but you have any additional thoughts on this?
I do. There is always a receptivity to any exchange. So when there's a frequency
Uh,
match where someone can come in and someone can take energy and one and another person loses energy, there's always this cohesiveness of the two things come together because there's some level when the person who's being taken from has cracks in their consciousness, because that is all mind control. In the same way, the government or institutions or World Health Organization are influencing our field, and the things they say allow us to think we're weaker and they're stronger. That's an example of that. Somebody's taking from us our clarity and our safety, and they're taking it to wherever they want it to go because it suits them. So that's a larger idea of that. But that's because we are not fortified in knowing that we're sovereign beings that are beyond that. Like, it is your clarity that will make your fear irrelevant. The fear opens up the cracks. It is the fear that lets in someone else's thought pattern that then runs down the hall screaming with your energy. So it's always, the finger always points back to us. We have to tighten ourselves up. We need more frequencies that help us be congruent. It's like what Russ said. It's really coherence. It's really
Mm.
being completely coherent, clear, and our so much of our culture and our religions and how we have been taught leaves a lot of room open, so some where we think someone has more power over us than we have over our own minds. Like, you shall not be taken out of my mind what I'm not giving you. There's that.
So this is like a matter of consent, like what we're
It's an
willing and
unsaid consent. It's a
yes,
unconscious
unsaid.
consent.
Yeah, unconscious, where there's something in your frequency set that is giving consent
Yes.
to such and such. Yeah, this is getting real good, you all. Ah, okay. All right, gonna go to a couple more comments. Cassidy, love this topic. Thank you. Shelly, just saw this on my feed. So grateful to see your faces and hear your lessons. Julianne, how does the light body in these waters calibrate for creation and manifestation, whether health or abundance? I think that's such an excellent question
Yeah.
because some of the frequency waters that you're using, I understand, correlate with specifically wealth, but you have the floor, LaOta.
So again, it's all about the speed. So I'll give you a little bit of history. In ancient China, when the emperor would have audiences with those who would come to partition, they had been taught since childhood to hear the frequency. So when the person who was going to allow the person in would hit the dong, from the sound of that dong, they could identify the frequency of what the person was requesting, because they would hit the dong and say the name, and the name would then give the frequency. And they were taught to identify, is this frequency of what frequency level? Is it high vibration? Is it where is the frequency? What is the speed of this frequency? And then they already knew what their response would be based on having been taught the articulation of identifying the frequency by sound, which we do all the time when we listen to music. We're listening to the frequency that puts us in a mood or doesn't put us in a mood of what's going on. So I think it's important to have this clarity of how the different many ways in which frequency exist. So frequency exists at many different wavelengths. One of the most powerful and the easiest frequencies to get to offset any negative is joy and gratitude.
Hmm.
If you take a moment and just feel yourself reach for joy, which it might take some practice, because most of us only have fleeting moments in joy. We may only like, oh, I remember a moment where something happened and I had a moment of joy. I would encourage you to go there now. That collapses everything beneath it. That speed, that fast joy, it collapses all the things that are sluggish and beneath that. If you can stay in joy, And then if you can reach gratitude, you're there. And if you can stay there, again, it collapses everything. If that becomes who you are, if that becomes part of your frequency set, then you have an experience where you are above the fray. You are above um, parasitic stealing of your frequency. You're above illness. You're above the problems of the day to day experience. You're operating at a place where everything that all the monsters are beneath you and they can't see you. They exist, but they're beneath you. They can't see above their heads. They can't see what it looks like in joy and gratitude. Truth, either, for that matter.
I, I got so many thoughts on this. There are so many gems that you're dropping from one from the perspective of a clearer and where you teach to keep ourselves at an elevation where, again, as you say, you're above the entities that you're looking to clear. You know, they may have some awareness, but they can't see you, can't they can't do nothing about it because you're untouchable. One of the things that's coming into my mind, many of the people on the line are likely aware of map of consciousness and the idea of frequency being somewhat of a scale, so to say. And, you know, you reach up into joy, you go higher into gratitude and these things. And where fear and apathy and sadness, it's so far down here. And there's a major gap that we create between ourselves and the beast, so to say, or the monsters or the low frequencies. And I want to share a little bit about this idea about tapping into joy because even though we're not quite there, in the energetic protection class, that's one of the tools that's used. And it was my direct experience of calling on joy to stay above the condemnation and the judgment that was like shooting me in my side and my abdomen from someone who I cared about. Or, and there's people in the comments saying, and this is actually Julianne, because this is word to her question. She says, yes, we must hold our frequency, family. No, excuse me. We must hold our frequency. Family is a huge trigger. This takes power to stay in high frequency. Heck yes, it does. It not only takes power, but it takes diligence, persistence, and the will. If I may, LaOta, with this frequency thing and intensity, one of the things that I saw for integration is how frequent you engage the frequency and the duration and time that you spend within the frequency. You know, and so confronting the family member every time I thought of them, every time I saw him, every time we crossed paths, I had to shoot myself into joy to stay above not only their thoughts, but to combat the thing that was inside of me that was making me vulnerable to whatever was in the world or out in the outside world. So when you say joy will do it, I know that I know that I know, but I do see that it does require some level of diligence and persistence. But would you talk about like how do frequency waters help you for like somebody who's, you know, they see the need to integrate and expand their frequency bandwidth. How does this look within a person's experience when they're using the frequency water to kind of feel that that discipline or that expansion of the frequency within their field to where they become it?
I'd like you to hold that question while I go back to something someone earlier said. I'm not sure what her name was. I can't see the live stream, but she was saying about her daughter and being on the phone. I want
Cece.
so the idea that and in another question we talked about there's some kind of crack in the seams that lets that frequency, the unwanted frequency in. Often that's DNA in the family. That's actually the DNA in the family. So I want to make sure I cover that is that often we are not properly fortified because we have compassionate relationships with everyone in the family. And then that lets in some of the things that we find uh, not productive and that are often in sabotage to us that really leave us damaged afterwards. So I'm pointing to that to say most of us have gone through that. Not everyone. I'm sure there are people who don't go through it, but many of the people I speak to have dangerously sabotaging relationships with family members or with those they marry into the family. And those, and
Mm,
often it's through the DNA and the connection with the DNA. However, you are greater than that. Once you can identify that it is family, then now you now can clear it. Once you know that that's what it is, then you can now fortify yourself to be prepared that they're going to be your family forever. So you can be prepared to how are you going to be. And I can share with you that if you are clear and you write your notes and submit, eventually they'll stop coming to your house. Trust me on this. Like,
that's right.
if you're writing in sand, it's likely that it's going to get blown away and you're going to have to redo it this lifetime and maybe even the next. But if you're like, shall you not take my happiness, my money, my energy? Shall you not turn it into something that works against me? And you have that level of clarity. It is your clarity that will
Mm,
be delivered to them. Like, she's just not, she's too hard of a rock to crack. Let me go take my stuff somewhere else.
that's right.
And that
That I
people will
can't
not,
feed.
people will not continue to try to eat you when they're hungry if they can't get a nibble.
That's right.
Eventually they'll go nibble on something else. So I mean so I wanted to say that, even though I also wanted to answer your question, that answered a little bit deeper into the two questions we had earlier.
By the way, before you go further, I've been scrolling through these comments. There's so many questions about family. There's
They
so
have
many
to, yeah, you
questions.
all are going to have to come to the class. You're going to have to come to the class because we're going to do very personal work on each person in the class. We're actually going to identify what things are needed in your bandwidth to help protect you for your success and well being. Like, what do you need in your bandwidth? Are you counting on mother's love when it wasn't really ever there for you and we need to give it to you in a
Mm,
frequency? Do you need you need 12 pounds of hugs? Like, is that what you need in your when you talk about things like the map of consciousness and we look at what a person feels like, shame is at 20 on the logarithmic scale. That is as close to death as you can be and still be alive. And then when you look at joy, it's at 600 on the logarithmic scale. You can go from shame to 600. If you start practicing, you can get out of feeling ashamed because of something in the family, something that may or may not have anything to do with you, a family uh, frequency that the whole family has taken on, that they all feel like they have to hide and be. All of that can be erased through the frequencies. The bandwidth can be changed, and the cracks in the because of the DNA in the family can be closed. So
mhm.
if you can remember what your other question was, I'll go back to it.
I don't know. It's a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on. Well, how about this? Take a couple more comments and then we go to our quick commercial break. Kamisha Brown says, "Thank you. I understand."
Oh,
She gets
good.
it.
I'm so happy to get that confirmation. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. You just upped my frequency. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.
All right, so this is one of those family questions. Erica says, should we avoid family or friends who we believe have negative attachments or just protect ourselves?
The and this is really a shout out to Light Body. Those who are developing and cultivating light do not avoid darkness. We illuminate it. We throw light on it. Just like when the sun comes up, there can be no darkness. You can exude who you are once you learn and stabilize in it. We're not hiding from darkness. There's darkness everywhere we walk, it'll light up. That's what light
Uh,
body is all about. You are a light, a biophotonic light being from your original blueprint from creation. You are established in truth and light. However, we have been cut off from that with our 10 strands of our DNA and our solar plexus being cut off and filled up with artificial flavors and food. We can resuscitate this because it is our birthright. I'm getting excited. I'll stop.
Stay turned up, because this is where it's at. Let me take it back a little bit. This is why I said earlier when we began this conversation about frequency, this requires us to shift how we identify who and what are we. Like you say, if you are a biophotonic being of light, what does that mean when you show up in a space or show up around family or friends, so to say? I'm about to go visit family back in Miami, and I know I'm gonna light that thing up. Boy, I'm gonna light it up. But at the same time, I know I'm not eating nothing that they have there, but I'm still gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have a great time just being me, and enjoying what I can, So it, I can see where people are often apprehensive to have certain experiences, and I'm not saying go lay down with the dog because you might get fleas, right? But it shouldn't stop us from living life, especially when you learn to cultivate power, learn who you are. I can go in the grocery store and come back out without attachments and cooties on
Yes,
me,
but
right?
if
Or,
you think you're a dog, you're likely to get fleas.
yeah.
You're not. You are a biophotonic light being. You are human. You are womb man. You are not what they say you are. You have the power to decide, and it does require some cultivation, but mostly it requires that you know who you are.
Mm.
Who are you? Who are you? You're the one that's
That's-
going to light up the room. Most of you who are on this line were born to save your families. You can't let them kill you. Stop
mm.
it.
Say that louder for the people in the back. Don't let them kill you. You're the savior.
You are the
Dang it.
one who is you are the one who's interested in this expansion, in the new world, in the new man. You are the one who will help the others, but not because they agree with you or because you win the argument, but because you shine in so much they're going to want some shine. They're going to want the light. When Tavares says he's going to go, he's not going to eat nothing. I know for sure he's not going to put anything in his mouth that his family hands him. I know for
Well,
sure.
look, I'm prepared. First off, we clearing the path, we clearing the flights, we doing it all. But I'm gonna make sure I got fresh juice. I'm gonna come. It's a family picnic, and it's gonna be so fun. But I know, like I said, I'm not eating nothing. I'm already gonna come with my own food, my own snacks in my little bag. Be ready, because I already understand what I'm getting into. It's just like you said earlier. Are you expecting mother's love from someone who does not have it to give? I know I'm not going to be able to get that from that experience, So it's just really understanding the context without the judgment. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. And I'm not going to stop them. Eat
And
your
not and
ribs
don't be
and mac and
mad.
cheese. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and don't
you
be
free.
mad that they don't have or the right opinion about whatever you're eating. It doesn't really matter. What matters is you get to shine the light in front of them. They get to
Yeah.
bask in the glory of your speed of your frequency, and then when you leave, it will be missed. And
Ugh.
then they will then develop a hunger. So it's not through argument or trying to make them understand that you
Mm.
change people. It's through being changed.
Yes, yes. All right. This is so good. I want to go to some other comments. There's two questions that are in here that are really, really good, relatively at least. So, who is this? Boy Pello T, heart emoji with a hand wave. Hey, Boy Pello. A question about consent. I've seen people advise others to say, I do not consent to undesirable experience. Just saying it verbally undo the frequency that attracts the experience. I actually feel like this is what you were saying about show you not have what I would not give you, but
Okay, so we have a podcast where I often say silence is consent. If you are trying to, so that means like things happen to us, medical things, things happen with our children in school, and we don't say anything. That's consent. That's one form of consent. When something is on you trying to suck the blood out of your neck, I do not consent. It's not enough. You may have to say what I'm about to say with the same conviction that I'm saying it with. Shall you not have what I shall not give you? Back up off of me. That's the real. You should have felt that.
I wanted to act it out.
Go ahead.
I'm chilling. I was like, get your ass up. You know, it's like, it's assertive. It's not the, no, stop. No,
I
no.
don't. No,
Shall you not
I
have
don't.
this?
I don't consent. I don't consent.
No, don't do that. No.
Put that stick down. No, I don't consent to you hitting me. No, no.
All right.
That's not the force at which it comes. You must meet it and match it and go beyond it.
How about this? How about we dive a little bit into that? And I know we are supposed to go on commercial break, but
I think we should, Tavares.
all right. All right, everybody, hang tight. You got 58 seconds in you? This is so good. We're having a great time here, everyone. Thanks again for joining. Again, there's so many people in the live stream. Thank you again for tapping into this live stream with us and your comments. We'll get through them as we can. And we have a quick message from our sponsor. This is a real sponsor that we know, not just some random person. All right, here we go.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluka Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluka Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency so you know exactly where your gold comes from, and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluka Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
All right, I'm learning on the tablet because I was like, how do I get us from the stage? And we're doing good here. We're doing great. And shout out to Aluka, Alex in Dubai. He is an ally with us, and he is a wealth investor, asset protection guy. So if you're interested in investing in gold or having your assets protected, visit alukainc.com and check out them on Instagram, Aluka Group. So thanks again. Honor, respect, and gratitude to Alex in Dubai. We appreciate you. Alrighty. I'm touching buttons over here just a moment. So we're back. We are back. How about we put that on? Join Light Body June 1st. Can we talk a little bit about Light Body? And then I want to get back into this idea of frequency. And you said something about having to meet and match energy. And I'd like you to expound on that because I understand you can't be no wet noodle out here trying to raise your frequency in the front of in the face of darkness. And then from there we can get into some more comments. And I know we still haven't gotten into the energetic protection and defense class, but if you got some fuel in the tank, LaOta, we'll get there when we get there. I'm open to the scenic route. I'm just saying.
So, about light body movement, this is a solution in the time we are in. All of us are inundated with feeling piled on by the many various aspects of our experience, our food, our medicine, our schools, our children, our government, our relationships with people. And so, light body movement is a way for you to actually resuscitate the original blueprint of humanity through your own efforts, through guided experience. We have already begin activating our light bodies, those of us who are the instructors, that can be seen by those who can see. And it will be much more visible. It is the ultimate defense class. The more light you have, the less darkness can shift that dynamic. They cannot make you sunset if you are dawn. So if you show up as the bright light of day through your own efforts and your desire to be who you actually are, were created to be, that is what light body is about. We are going through each energy vortex, each chakra, each month, and we are doing it in a way where you can join on wherever you are. We're doing it at a price that everybody can do it at $45 a month. Everybody can join on, come and be with us in 4 different iterations of different topics, different things, all to resuscitate the light within you with people who are already resuscitating their light. This is not even known in our world except in the most esoteric of teachings, but it is a truth. What cannot be taken from you is your blueprint. When I talk to my food, I ask my food to come back to its original blueprint of nutrition and vitality to fill my body. We can do the same thing. We can call back that which was our original blueprint. That is light body. You are encouraged to join us.
By the way, LaOta, Eighth Lab says, love LaOta turned up. And I read that because as you're speaking, I could feel the truth in my cells, and I'm just kind of just here taking it in. And I'm sure the people on the line can feel that as well. There's a lot of wonderful comments. I'm going to read through some of those, and as and then once I read through just some of the general gratitude and appreciation, we'll get back to some of these other comments. And just a heads up for those who are interested in joining the light body movement, go to the Other Sun website. On the homepage, under class events, you'll see Light Body Movement. The link is still there. It's active. It's a monthly subscription. First, second, third, fourth Sundays, we are meeting, we are activating, we are going into different teachings for energy clearing. And like I said, different activations that are specific to the light body. But again, our focus is embodiment. Like I keep telling you all, this is none of that theoretical stuff. This is how do you embody the light in front of your family? How do you sustain in the real world at your place of work when you're dealing with your children, right? That's really where the warfare is happening within arm's reach. So again, you can find it on the website, and again, we look forward to those who sign up and join this movement with us. So a couple of comments. Sarah Cruz, purple heart emoji. Andrea Brooks, I'm enjoying the frequency of joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Biopello, if I'm saying that right, says, ooh, thank you so much. I definitely felt that. Thank you. So that's good, good, good. American Copper Dragon says, Jamie Foxx on Denzel, get your hands off me. I think that's the show you not have, what I will not give you.
It's
Yes.
assertive. There's an assertiveness. When you think about it, when you think about nature, what do you know in nature that's not assertive? Maybe a sloth. Other than that, I can't think of anything in nature at varying levels and frequencies and degrees, but creation is assertive. Even the vines will grow up the tree and around the building.
Yeah.
Surely, if a blade of grass can break through the cement, we can push somebody off of us.
Yes, yes. I'm burning up over here from the laughter, from the frequency. Just again, a little heads up for those who are wondering. If you go to the site, the dates likely show the previous month, but first class for Light Body kicks off June 1st, and it continues throughout the month for the second, third, and fourth Sunday. We're going to be updating the website over the weekend to reflect this, but even if you go on there right now, like, I want to be part of Light Body, click it, sign up. You're still registered. We'll make sure you get everything that you need. So we got you covered. Erica Day, so back to these comments. Erica Day says, shall you not have what what I shall not give you. So it looks like people are making note and putting it in their little coat pocket. And then
Come
we
to
got
the
some other
frequency
strong
class.
questions.
Come to the frequency class. I'll give you that frequency. I will
Mm.
make that frequency water for you.
And that's the thing. This is an embodiment. You could Denzel, get your hands up off me. And again, frequency water class that's going to be available on the website June 1st. So again, stay tuned. We encourage you to visit the site. Also, if you'd like to stay up to date with what we're doing, join our e-blast, our newsletter. We're regularly sending emails out to our clients and to our followers, our subscribers of what's happening. There's something happening every single week, multiple times throughout the week, some free, some paid. So again, there's a lot of get in where you fit in with us. So again, I'm going back through these comments. All right, it's a lot of gratitude. Let's just know that first off. So I'm gonna go to this other good comment. This is from American Copper Dragon, and I think this is really interesting. Is it propaganda to allow reverence for a low frequency either you or others may be in? Or should we always inject high frequencies despite the low, even if not truly felt?
Would you repeat that?
Yeah, and I think I know what they're saying here, but is it propaganda to allow reverence for a low frequency for
Oh,
you or that you or others may be in? You know, so like let me sit with this low frequency, let me be with, and or should we just inject the high frequency despite it being low, even though we don't feel joyful or peaceful? Should we just, you know what, I'm gonna send that frequency into this low frequency?
this is so great of a question because we spend. I encourage you, close your eyes, look at the world around you. Look at all the fake and the pretend. Look at all
Mm.
the depression and the sadness. Do you want to contribute to that? Is it okay with you if your mother don't get out of bed on the weekends because she's so depressed? Are you willing to coddle and let that be okay? Are you going to feed the 600-pound man 5 more burgers because he don't want to, he can't, doesn't have the energy to get up? His frequency won't allow it. Are you going to be the enabler of what has happened in our world? Or are you going to be the one who has come here from amongst us to bring us up to a higher level? This idea of the way you language the last part, whether when you're not there, you're not there. You can't fake the joy if you're not in the joy. You can't fake the gratitude if you're not in the, you could say the words, but you can feel it when I say it to you because I'm a frequency generator. You can also be, if you are authentically whatever you are, be that, but strive to be the higher frequency that is not kibbles and bits for those who eat the low frequencies. You don't want to get eaten by the beast. And you don't want your loved ones to be eaten by the beast. When you see people in varying levels, because it happens through the food, it happens through the medication, it happens through the morphic field of humanity, save them, make them laugh, give them something to be thankful for, be the joyful comment. Allow that to be like your direction. Let that be your North Star. Even if it's one person at a time, or 1 inch at a time, or 1 minute at a time, the rest is getting eaten by the beast. Anti life is devouring the world, big chunks at a time, big sinkhole amounts. I hope that answers it.
I think so. I think so. So there's a lot that could be said there, but I'm gonna go back to some more comments here. Wow, you all are blowing up the comments section. This is good though. Light it up, light it up. Somebody says, everybody loves the sunshine. Wandering Jet. Rhonda
Absolutely.
says, it seems they always trying to dim our light. I know, Rhonda. Don't let
They're
them.
trying
Keep
to block
shining.
out the sun
Shine.
for real, not just dim our light. They're really trying to block out the
Hmm.
sun. They have a bill waiting in Congress. They've already signed it. They did it in Switzerland. They tried to do it in Mexico. They're trying to block out the sun. Don't let it happen. Don't let that happen in your world. If you got to be the sun, then that's just how it's going to be. We're going to be the sun.
I had a question for you. This is actually from Rhonda. She says, those beings are attracted to us. Light attracts the dark. Would you speak a little bit about this? Because this is something that I've seen with souls where I've literally seen where souls are apprehensive to raise their frequency because they think that something out there is going to consume them. The brighter they get, they're going to attract more darkness. Would you dispel that for us?
So it is not that that is untrue. It is unexplained. So if you think of yourself walking through a dark night and you see a star in the sky, then you can see that in the darkness, the light is the attractor factor. But if the light is fire and intense enough,
That part.
yes. So there is this idea that you really need to go all the way. You really need to like be the light, like embed yourself, root yourself, understand that again, this is the truth of the matter is of the sun, we don't avoid the darkness, we illuminate the darkness. We walk into a room with that clarity that I was designed. Humanity has been designed as light beings. The darkness is something that's coming in that's a distortion in our world. It is not the truth of our world. Our world has a sun that punishes those who are not from here. You know, it is the sun that dispels the darkness. And if it's just like fire, fire doesn't always burn things up. You know, it depends on the intensity. There are levels in this. So I understand the question, and I understand where it's coming from, and I understand the truth of it from where she's standing. But there's more. You know,
I feel
you can be catapulted above that level where you are the sun. You illuminate.
that part. I feel as though everybody's homework, if they're inclined to doing so, is identify who are you. You've been given a couple of hints and clues. I'm just saying. And you've been given some level of way to engage with reality. Again, LaOta's been dropping gems all day. We're going an hour strong. We're having a good time, right? We're having a good time. All right, we're gonna keep it going. All right, so before we shift gears, because we still have to talk a little. Let's talk a little bit about the energetic protection and defense class, because we're going on well over an hour, and I'm sure the people are like, "No, keep going. We'll stay here for 2, 3 hours listening to
No, we
you
won't.
all." Now we
I
got
got
we got things to do. We got we got schedules. We got websites to update for you all to sign up for the new light body and Laota's frequency water class, right? But again, I want to give thanks and gratitude. It looks like there's even more people that are jumping here in the live stream. So again, honor, respect, and gratitude to everybody who's joining us. Again, this is every Thursday at 12 noon. We're here. It might be a couple of minutes after 12, but best believe we're going to be here going in on different updates, classes, these conscious, expansive classes, but also giving you some gems while we speak about that as well. So, do you have any final thoughts about this idea of frequency waters and kind of like what are people to expect? What can they look forward to by joining this class with you?
The frequency water class you'll be able to identify, as I've already shared here with you, what certain frequencies feel like. You'll be able to identify them, and we'll be able to look and see what your bandwidth requires for your levels of success or your desires, because all of those things are within your ability to have them as you adhere to them. So there needs to be consistent integration with frequencies that are not within your bandwidth. Like if in your family there's not a lot of frequencies of wealth, you may need wealth within your bandwidth, and that may require you to use a wealth frequency product for many months to acquire the levels of wealth. So these are the things that we will identify for the participants in class. Everybody will have a frequency profile, and we'll be going over. There's 3 days to the class, one each week for 3 weeks. It's an hour and a half class. Whatever time permits, we will be able to go through and see what frequencies are most needed. What does that feel like? What can you do? How is your motion change? And then what happens as you acquire frequencies. So this is something that you can look forward to. I think it will be very exciting for people because this is a little ahead of the curve. Although I've been doing it for decades, it's a little ahead of the curve of humanity, but it is the way, and it is the future, and it is how people will heal in the future through these frequencies and through, as Russ said, the coherence. It's not just about identifying it, it's about being coherent with it at the right speed of whatever it is. You can begin by thinking about joy and gratitude because they're easily accessible, especially gratitude. But think about the duration at which you're grateful. Are you grateful for 1 second? Are you grateful for 3 days? Think about, that's the coherency, that's the holding of it. So I invite everyone to join us. We're looking forward to it, and we're so happy you're here to hear about it.
Yes, thank you again, LaOta, for sharing. So, just a little update for you all. If you're wondering, as I think I saw someone say, when is the class? Frequency, I think what time? So, again, the details are going to be on the Everson website really, really soon. However, you can join LaOta for her frequency water class June 10th, 17th, and 24th. This is a 3-day immersion. It's from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So you're investing an hour and a half, and you're likely going to want more, but you're also going to leave with belly full, your energetic belly full with frequencies. And yeah, that's that. So, I'm getting a message from someone saying it may be best for us to hold off our topic or discussion for energetic protection and defense for next week because it just makes sense to do so. And I think that leaving this live stream with a focus primarily on frequency waters, your upcoming class, it feels very solid to me. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we're doing great here. The audience feels fabulous. The frequencies in the audience are wonderful.
Yes, yes. I want to thank everybody. I'm just going to do some name shout outs because uh, we we got a jet. However, so much gratitude to everybody. There's so many people chiming in there. I saw someone say, I finally made it to a live. So again, every Thursday, 12 noon, we are here. At first, it was just 20 minutes, but now we're like, we're going to give you an hour. So look at that. Hour, 13 minutes. We already give you 13 extra. So shout out Abby, Shelly, Lauren, Abba, Rhonda, Erica, Cassidy. Who else we got in here? Julianne and everybody else. American Copper Dragon, Chile. Yo, so he or she said, share with your family some juice. Bring some juice for your family. My family love juice. They loved, at least my immediate family. That's the thing. I don't want to go too deep into it, but you can change your DNA sometimes marginally, but it's possible. Who else we have? Biopello, Rhonda, Eighth Lab, Andrea. Thank you all for showing up and some of y'all showing out. So uh, again, we leave you in Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.
In Lakesh and Veritas. Honor, respect, and gratitude to you. Take those frequencies, enjoy them.